Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you. I told you I sort by place, so I know where things are. I mean, I can literally at night in the dark reach over and know exactly where to drop my hand to land on the glass of water next to the bed, even though it's surrounded by vitamin bottles and things, or to know exactly where the bottle of Advil is or whatever it may be. You know, I sort by place. I know where things are. And, you know, it's one of the reasons why having things in storage makes me crazy, because it's like, you know, I don't know the place. I didn't put them I didn't organize those storage spaces. But anyway, and the sort by thing is fascinating. I once knew, actually, I know two people who sort by taste. Right? We all have a sorting system in our heads. It's our principal sorting system. This is neuro-linguistic programming, NLP 101 here. We all have a sorting system. And my two friends who sort by taste, one of them, she told me once, the last time we got together was a year and a half ago, and it was at so-and-so at such and such restaurant, and I had the veal, and you had the veggie special or whatever it was. I mean, I've literally had, you know, and I have another friend who sorts by taste also, who remembers the meals that we had more than the conversations. And both of them struggle with their weight, which makes me wonder, you know, which is chicken and which is egg. But it's fascinating stuff. It's fascinating stuff. Anyhow, there's a few other things I wanted to discuss as well, in addition to asking you if you're ready to embrace your mess, or if you think that, you know, being messy is the sign of a disorganized mind. I mean, I'll be the first to say, hey, ADHD, I just published a book, ADHD and the Edison Gene, a drug-free approach to managing the unique qualities of your child. This came out about 6 months ago. And I've got another book coming out this month. In fact, you can order it right now on Amazon and other places. This is not a pitch for the book, but just, you know, to talk about it. Called Adult ADHD, How to Be Successful as a Hunter in a Farmer's World. Hunting-gathering societies, I suspect, are, well, I don't know. Maybe they're not as messy or less messy or more messy than farming societies. I don't know. But in any case, it's that sorting strategy actually is one of the pieces of it. So I would be the first to say, okay, you know, ADHD, sign me up. That's me. I mean, I first got into this stuff running a community for abused kids and discovering that so many of them, this was back in 1979, so many of them had hyperkinetic syndrome, that in the year 2000, I published a monograph in the Journal of Orthomolecular Psychiatry. I'm sorry, it wasn't the year 2000. It was 1980. In 1980, I published a piece in the Journal of Orthomolecular Psychiatry that was an analysis of Ben Feingold's diet on these kids with ADHD. And in that, I laid out my first hypothesis that ADHD was not a disease or a disorder, that it was just a different way of experiencing the world. And I wonder if sorting by place is associated with ADHD, because if ADHD is really an adaptive thing for hunting societies, you know, the cardinal characteristics of ADHD are distractibility, impulsivity, and a need for high levels of stimulation. So you're distractible. You're going through the forest looking for lunch. You're noticing everything. Well, that's useful if you're out in the forest looking for lunch. It's not useful if you're sitting in a classroom and you're supposed to pay attention to your teacher. Number two, impulsivity, making quick decisions. Well, if you're chasing a rabbit and a deer goes by, you don't have time to sit down with a pen and a pad and do a risk-benefit analysis. Let's see, two rows, deer, rabbit, more meat, less, you know, harder to catch. You know, you can't do that. You've got to make an instant decision and act on it before you even realize that you've thought about it. Cognition preceding, or action preceding cognition, is the fancy way that they describe impulsivity at least in the old DSM. I don't know what the DSM-5 says, but it used to be in the DSM-4, as I recall. In other words, you're acting before you even realize it. That's the second characteristic of ADHD, which again would be useful in a hunting-gathering world. wouldn't be useful in a farming world where you're just supposed to pick those bugs off those plants, bug after bug, plant after plant, hour after hour, day after day, week after week, year after year. And then the third, of course, is, wanting high levels of stimulation. And in a farming society, you'd want people who actually like low levels of stimulation, so they don't get bored and leave the farm. I mean, this is how America got settled. People got bored in Europe and they crossed an ocean, at least the white people. The people who came here intentionally. There have been a lot of immigrants of color as well over the years, but not initially, tragically. But in any case, here we have all this ADHD, and it seemed, my experience has been that ADD kids are messier. But I don't think it reflects a messy brain. I think it reflects simply a different brain chemistry, a different way of experiencing the world.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.